Welcome inside the latest edition of Trailblazer Weekly. As always, I'm your host, Keric Seegmiller. Today we'll recap the fall sports season, including a season recap with football head coach Shay McClure. We'll also take a look back at last week's results from men's and women's basketball, and we'll hear from men's basketball junior Trevor Hill in our player profile feature. So there's no time to waste. Let's go. Trailblazer Weekly starts now. A lot has transpired since our last episode here on Trailblazer Weekly, including the conclusion of the fall sports season. But before we can officially consider it complete, we've got to take a quick look back at each fall sport. We'll start with football. The football team made its debut in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference in 2016 and made some noise with a 6-5 overall record and a 6-4 mark in conference play, finishing tied for 5th place, 4 spots above where it was selected to finish in the preseason poll. The season was highlighted by a 4-1 record in October, including wins over Western State and number 23 ranked Colorado Mesa in Grand Junction, marking Dixie State's first win over a ranked opponent in the Division II era. The Trailblazer football finished this season with 13 All-RMAC selections, including both the offensive and defensive freshman of the year and running back Clifford Sims and defensive back Jalen Moore. As a note, Dejon Coleman set new Dixie State records in career rushing touchdowns, and single-season rushing record in 2016, while Keanu Foki set the new Dixie State season single sack record with an RMAC best 7.5 sacks this season, and the Trailblazers finished with their first winning season since 2005. Of course, we'll be joined a little bit later by head coach Shay McClure to talk about that season, and we'll break it all down. But congratulations to the football team on their first winning season since 2005. To men's soccer now. The men's soccer team had a lot to live up to after a record-setting year in 2015, but the Trailblazers were up to the task in 2016. After losing their first 3 games of the season, Dixie State rattled off a school record 15 consecutive wins, including a perfect 13-0 record in Pacific West Conference play during the program's first ever Pac West Championship and NCAA tournament bid, finishing the season with a 15-4 overall record. Of course, their trip to the NCAA tournament ended a little sooner than they wanted it to, but on the heels of the most successful season in program history, 8 members of the team received all Pac West honors, including senior goalkeeper Bradley Trella repeating as Pac West Goalkeeper of the Year. Junior Brian Baugh was named Conference Defender of the Year, and forward Moises Medina was tabbed as Pac West Freshman of the Year. Now, Trella, Baugh, and Moises Medina were also named First Team All-Conference, joining fellow first-team picks in sophomore midfielder Gabby Medina and freshman defender Angel Estrada. In addition, senior defender Hunter Ketterer, sophomore midfielder Dominic D'Amato, and freshman Crispin Hall were each named to the league's 3rd team. Just an outstanding, extraordinary year for the men's soccer team. Again, and they get the school's first ever Pac West championship for men's soccer. Congratulations to them. To women's soccer now. The women's soccer team finished this season with an 11-7 overall record and a 9-4 mark in Pac West play, finishing in 4th place in the conference. Now, the season was highlighted by a 7-game win streak starting in September and continuing into October, including a perfect 4-0 record in Hawaii in a grueling stretch of 4 matches in 7 days. After the season, junior forward Darian McCloy was named Pac West Player of the Year and to the All-Pac West first team, while senior midfielder Megan Spencer and junior defender Montana Hadley each earned 2nd team All-Conference honors. To volleyball now. Like the men's soccer team, the volleyball team had big shoes to fill after winning the Pac West title in 2015. The Trailblazers sprinted out of the gates of the season, winning 12 of their first 16 matches, including an 8-0 start to Pac West play. Dixie State would then finish the season winning 5 of the final 12 matches to finish with a 17-11 overall record and a 13-7 mark in Pac West play to finish in 3rd place in the Pac West. The volleyball team landed 2 players on the 2016 Pac West Women's Volleyball Postseason Awards list. Senior outside hitter Delane Daniel was named to the league's 2nd team, while senior setter Kaylee Fry earned 3rd team All-Conference honors. To cross country now. The men's and women's cross country teams look to build upon successful races in the 2015 season. Both teams competed in 5 races in 2016, as the men's team finished in 6th place at the Pac West Championships, while the women's team finished in 9th place. Senior Rodney War on the men's side earned the lone All-Pac West honor for both teams, finishing in 18th place to land on the All-Pac West 3rd team, Both teams competed in the NCAA Division II West Regionals in Billings, Montana, where the women finished in 28th and the men finished in 18th place, setting a new team 10K record time of 2:43.47 in the process. Big congratulations to the men's team, both teams, for a great season in the cross-country seasons. Now, 3 other teams which compete both in the fall and spring took part in competition in the fall season, including men's and women's golf and women's tennis. The men's golf team earned a 9th place finish for its best finish of the fall season in early September, while the women's team also earned 9th place finishes 2 different times in the fall. And the women's tennis team, can't forget to give them a shout out. They earned a 4-0 record at the Colorado Mesa Duels in early October, marking the best start to the season in the program's NCAA Division II era. Of course, all 3 of those teams will be back in action this coming spring. In all, Dixie State's fall teams, the ones that accumulate win and loss records, finished the fall with an overall record of 53-27, a winning percentage of just over 66%. So, congratulations to all the student athletes, coaches, staff members for those fall teams for an extraordinary season in 2016, one of, if not the best overall fall season in the NCAA Division II era here at Dixie State. With that, it's time for our first break. When we come back, we'll catch up on the men's and women's basketball games from last week. Don't go anywhere. There's more Trailblazer Weekly after this.
There's a place where young and old make connections, where kids feel like grown-ups, and grown-ups feel like kids. There is a place where beauty arises in contrast, where wonder is universal, and laughter second nature. There is a place where friends find a future, families find each other, and feelings find their home. There is a place.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Back to Trailblazer Weekly with fall sports now in the rearview mirror. The basketball season is in full swing. Both the men's and women's basketball teams were in action last week, starting with the women's team. The Trailblazers headed to Salt Lake City to take on Westminster on Friday. The Griffins pushed the lead to 11 points in the third quarter at 38-27, but Dixie State responded with a 15-6 run over the final 8:19 of the period to pull within 44-42 at the end of the third. Dixie State cut the lead to 1 point at 46-45 early in the final period when junior forward Lisa Van Kampen canned a triple with 8:17 remaining, but Westminster responded with a 12-2 run to extend the lead back to double digits and ultimately clinched the victory at 69-58. Van Kampen led Dixie State with a career-high 18 points and 9 rebounds, while Shelby Kasuba added 12 points and redshirt sophomore Termina Jordan scored 10 points. Women's basketball will try for its first win of the season this weekend versus Concordia. To men's basketball now. After playing its first 4 games of the season on the road, the men's basketball team returned to the Burns Arena last week to host the Wingate Thanksgiving Classic on Friday and Saturday. The Trailblazers first battled Sonoma State on Friday, taking the lead just before halftime and riding that lead throughout the second half en route to a 64-62 win. Brandon Miller hit on 6 of 8 from beyond the arc to finish with game and career highs of 19 points in his first start of the season. Senior forward Josh Fuller added 13 points on 4 of 8 shooting and grabbed a team-high 6 rebounds, while Trevor Hill chipped in 12 points with 5 boards, 4 assists, and 3 steals. The Trailblazers took that momentum into Saturday's game versus Western Oregon, a team which played in the Division II Final Four last year. And like the night before, Dixie State built an early lead and fended off each Western Oregon run to finish with a 78-73 win. Josh Fuller went 12 of 17 from the floor, including 6 of 8 from the free throw line for a 30-point performance, while also pulling down a game-high 13 rebounds to notch his second double-double of the year. Zach Hunter finished with a season-high 14 points, while Brandon Simister added 13 points. Which brings us to our men's basketball impact players, and earning that is none other than Mr. Josh Fuller himself. 30 points, 13 rebounds for a double-double against Western Oregon. That is the first 30-plus point performance for the men's basketball team since February 2013. 13. So congratulations to Josh Fuller, our Trailblazer Weekly Impact Player for this week. The men's basketball team is now 3-3 heading into Pac West play this weekend. With that, it's time for our next break. When we come back, we'll be joined by football head coach Shay McClure to recap the 2016 football season. Don't go anywhere. There is a lot more Trailblazer Weekly right after this timeout.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
There is a place where rocks bleed and nature blushes on a battlefield green with envy, where dimples determine destiny and a tiny wooden T holds the outcome in the balance. There is a place where friends are opponents and opponents are friends, where the prize is elusive, the conquest is captivating, and the score isn't settled till the drinks are down. There is a place.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
How you doing, Southern Utah? It's a good day to be alive in the STG.
I'd have been going nuts.
You would have lost your mind!
I could not believe he didn't even shake there. He gave him the finger, Devin. No.
Southern Utah's home for the best in sports includes local Region 9 high school games, Dixie State University, the NBA's new look, Utah Jazz, plus the best of the National Football League with the worldwide presence of ESPN to the Devin Dixon Show every afternoon from 4 to 6.
Welcome back inside the CEC TV studios as Trailblazer Weekly marches on. The football team is fresh off its first winning season of the Division II era, and today, head coach Shay McClure joins the show to help us break it all down. Coach, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Keric.
The season's over, but the busy season certainly is still upon us with recruiting and whatnot, so we appreciate you squeezing in some time for us here on Trailblazer Weekly to help us break down what was really an amazing season for your football team. As we think back, it's been almost exactly a year to the day, just a couple weeks away since you were named and introduced as the head coach at the press conference. Now 12 months later, you're fresh off the program's first winning season. This is after you were introduced and said you wanted to help build this program back to where it used to be. Describe how these last 12 months have been for you. I'm sure it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. I'm sure it's seemed like time has been flying, and here we are sitting with a winning record.
Yeah, I know, it's interesting. You talk to people and you start talking to recruits in the last couple months now and letting them know, what we've done and the things that have transpired over that time period, with the rebranding and the new facilities and, the ability for us to go out and compete and, all the new people that have joined the program as far as players and coaches are both concerned. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's gone on in the last 12 months, that's for darn sure.
And what's the feeling around the program? I know I'm really excited about the season that has just transpired. I know there was a couple wins there, a couple of games you feel like you probably could and should have had early in the season. But overall, I mean, the feeling's got to be one of just you're taking those steps, got to be excited about how this season went.
Yeah, and again, as a coach, you're never satisfied, and again, I told somebody this the other day that, if we won the national championship this year, I would have been satisfied for about 5 minutes and then wanted to go win another one. So, we did accomplish some things that I think we had set out to do, had reached some goals that maybe internally we had set for ourselves. Were we satisfied as a coaching staff? Probably not, but again, we're not as patient as maybe others. This business kind of breeds that, and so, I am proud of the boys for doing what they've done. Really, really excited about the future. you know. And so again, as I look back, those are the things that really excite me, not what we accomplished this year, but the steps I saw that we took to accomplishing what I know we want to do in the coming years.
Certainly. As we are breaking down the season, let's look at this season. You get that first win over Highlands and then drop the next 3, so you're at 1-3. And you come back on October 1st and you get the win over Western State, which turned out to be a really good win. Not that we didn't know that at the time, but Western State finished the season with a pretty good record, 7-4 in conference play. From my perspective, as the play-by-play announcer, kind of, I don't want to say an outsider, kind of looking in, meaning I'm not inside all the closed-door meetings, that seemed kind of like a turning point in the season. Something seemed to flip at that point. How big was that Western State win in terms of momentum for the rest of the year?
You know, just like you looking back on it, it was big for us. And you know, we did win game 1, and then, you know, losing Tyson, our starting quarterback, game 2 right after halftime, I think it was, or maybe right before halftime, and, you know, throwing Josh to the Wolves because Blake was also out. And, you know, so again, I mean, you're on your 4th-string quarterback in 2 games, and you're like, oh shoot, what's going to happen here? And again, Josh really stepped up, but I mean, you throw a wolf to the fire, and you know, I think that first game he came in against South Dakota Mines, you know, and really did give us a chance to win. The last interception wasn't his fault, and those things happened. But you know, now it was kind of like, okay, I'm off the bench. Okay, let's go. He didn't have time to think about it. Well, now the next 2 weeks, okay, I'm the starting quarterback at what, you know, and so again, I think, you know, for us to go beat a Western team who, like you said, was talented, I think this was probably their most talented team in a long time. You know, Austin Eckler, who may be one of the better tailbacks I've seen at this level, you know, really did change who we were. Now, I'll say this, I don't think our kids ever lost any confidence and or, you know, were really down on themselves even through the 3-game losing streak. You know, I always felt a sense of purpose. They came to work every day. And so, you know, I don't think we as coaches were nervous about it, but it was nice for them, and I think gave them some self-confidence to get over the hump a little bit and beat a good football team, you know, in Western State.
Of course, the next week went to Nebraska, the first trip to Chadron, and a dominating victory there. And then 2 weeks after that Western State victory, you go to Grand Junction, you march into their place, you spot them a 17-0 lead, and then next thing you know, the running attack just comes alive. You win it 38-31 for the first victory in the Division II era over a ranked opponent. You had it back to a 3-point game at halftime, 17-14. The momentum had already swung. But after spotting them, the 3-score lead, what was the message to the team at that point? You know,
and you know, we went out and again did spot them 17 before I think we even truly got every kid off the bus, and you know, so it was like, oh my gosh. And you've been there as a coach, you know, as a coach, you've been in those situations where it's just one of those nights, and I honestly at that point was like, this could be one of those nights, you know, this could be a 52-7, just we didn't show up type of football game. And the kids battled back, and like you said, I mean, our running game was solid all year, you know, and Mesa, you know, honestly struggles defensively in the run game, so it kind of was a good matchup for us. And you know, so we were able to take advantage of it. You know, I think their first touchdown came on a pick, you know, that we threw. So, you know, defensively, we held them to a field goal to make it 17. And then it was go time, you know, and we just started pounding the ball. The defense settled down, made a couple plays here and there. Ty Neal made a couple plays here and there. You know, and then right at the end of the half, like you said, we had gotten it to 3. They had a field goal, you know, to make it 6, and they missed that field goal right at the end of the half. And we went into the locker room, and again, I think the guys truly believed and had self-confidence that we could come out. And, you know, we came out the first play to start the second half, and Josh goes whatever it was, 92, 97, you know, KOR, you know, for 7 points, and really generated a ton of enthusiasm in our group. And I, you know how kids are. I mean, they were just, okay, it's go time, and responded well.
You spent a good chunk of time on the road the last few weeks of the season, including 3 of 4 at one point. You were able to close out the season at home and to clinch the first winning season in the D2 era at home with a tough win over Fort Lewis. The defense really stepped up second half, didn't score in the second half, but hey, you got the win, and it's really all that mattered. How nice was it for you as a coaching staff? And then for the players to be able to be at home, somewhat close to home for those players from California. Family could come up. How nice was it to be able to clinch that winning season out?
It's always nice to play at home. I don't care if it's the first game, last game, ninth game. It doesn't matter. It's always nice to play, there at our place and have the fans behind us. And like you said, it's always to end the season where, especially for the seniors, last game, truly their last game, and have family there and they're supporting them. And we talked about it all week and talked about it with the players all week, is they truly did have an opportunity to do something that no one had ever done at Dixie State, and it's something that could never be taken away from them. And we truly sold that to our kids all week long, because last game of the year, we're not going to the national playoffs. That's already been determined. And so sometimes it's kind of like, okay, what are we playing for? And our kids did have something to play for, as did our opponent in Fort Lewis, because I'll tell you what, they did a great job up there as well. Their coaching staff, I know those guys, and they did a really nice job with some limited talent, but they played hard, and it was a great football game, and we were fortunate to come out on top, and again, to provide our kids, and as I keep talking about, though, building towards the future, guys, if you listen to us, if you believe in what we're telling you, if you believe in where this program's going, this is what's going to happen. Well, there was some real clarification of, oh, okay, yeah, they're right. If we do these things, we can be a good football team. So it's always nice to finish that way.
Leading right into that, this season then ended 13 All-RMAC selections, matching a program best mark for your team, including the 2 Freshman of the Year honors in Clifford and Jalen. This entire team really gave their all this year, and it was great to see the conference take notice as well. Obviously, 13 wasn't the most All-RMAC selections in the conference, but it certainly wasn't even close to the least. And it's good to see the conference kind of showing your team the respect that they deserve this year.
Sure, and I talked to each head coach before the game, and we kind of talk about each other and what you see on film and those type of things. And every coach was very, praising of our young men in the way that they play, and maybe they weren't the best player, maybe they weren't all conference first team, second team, but they played hard, and that's the thing I heard from opposing coaches, and that's really, as a coach, you're proud of that, because they know on film, they watch you and they go, gosh darn, these kids play hard. They may not be the most talented, but they play hard, and as a coach, you're proud of that.
Well, Coach, congratulations on an awesome season, an outstanding season. Just hearing you talk about the future, it gets me excited. Wish football season was back here already, but I guess we have to wait 9 months for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm ready to start again too.
But there's a lot of recruiting and things to be done before then, so we'll let you take care of all that and look forward to next September when it all starts again. But thanks for stopping by today. Before we let you go, we've got our Trailblazer Weekly hard hat that all of our guests sign here on the show, so we'll hand you that marker right there. Pick a spot and sign it and mark what sport you're from. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to chat with us. While he's signing the hat, I'll let you know it's time for our next break. When we come back, we'll take a look ahead at the next week in Dixie State athletics, as well as hear from men's basketball junior Trevor Hill in our player profile feature. We'll be right back.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
There is a place where looking out means looking in, where an impression lasting only a few seconds will be imprinted on a life forever, where courage is forged and innocence rediscovered, where remembering is rewarding and forgetting unforgettable. There is a place where truth is felt and where seeing is believing. There is a place.
Welcome back inside Trailblazer Weekly. Another big thank you to football head coach Shay McClure for joining us today. It's that time again. Let's take a look ahead at the next week in Dixie State athletics. And as always, feel free to follow along on your screen. It starts with this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The graphic on your screen just has all the Saturday events because that's the majority of them. But the women's swimming team heading to the Colorado Mesa Winter Invitational today, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And what is the biggest meet of the season for the women's swimming team to date. Head coach Benjamin Ray told us on Tuesday in our Winter Sports Media Day that this meet is what they've been working for and preparing for to this point in the season all season long. And then, of course, it's men's and women's basketball on Saturday hosting Concordia in the Pac West Conference season opener for both teams. You've got the women's team tipping off at 5 p.m. and the men's team to follow immediately at 7:30 p.m. inside the Burns Arena. Of course, we'll have both of those games for you right here on CEC TV as well as on SouthernUtahLive.com and on the radio, ESPN 97.7 FM. It should be a couple of great games, and we encourage all of you, if you're out there watching this show today, you've got to be at the Burns on Saturday. Please support those teams. And that really wraps up our next week, as there's not another event until December 8th when the men's and women's basketball teams are at California Baptist in Riverside. It's time now for our weekly player profile feature. This week, we feature men's basketball junior Trevor Hill.
I'm Trevor Hill. I'm from Sandy, Utah. I was originally from Dallas. I'm a junior and I'm majoring in business administration. Started playing when I was about 4 years old, and then it's funny, I really loved football growing up as a kid, and I started getting injured as I got older, so I just switched to basketball and fell in love with it that way. My dad has been my biggest influence. I can remember from the time I was little watching his highlight films and with those short shorts, and he was just always pushing me to be better. I think with me and my little brother just being competitive, we're only 3 years apart, so it's just kind of always lit a fire. I always want to be better than him. Don't want to let him outdo me in anything. The love of the game and playing with the teammates, seeing them happy makes me happy, and just that keeps me motivated. Just hanging out with the guys, I think, is the friendship that we're able to build on and off the court. That's my favorite part. I want them to remember me as somebody that's accountable, whether it's on the floor or off the court in the classroom, or if they just need something, I always want to be there for them. I gotta take a nap. A nap is a must, and then just listen to music, and then I have to retie my shoes at least 3 or 4 times, make sure they're perfect. Just find the thing that drives you, because there's gonna be days that are tough and days that are hard. You don't really want to necessarily go to practice, but just knowing that you have to go, if you have something that you love or that you're working towards each day, it'll help you throughout. Well, my favorite player is Dwayne Wade, so I'd say he is who I look to model my game after, whether it's slashing and getting to the rim. I'd say the in-out crossover to my right hand. After the season ends, I always like to go fishing, just kind of spend some alone time. I never want to work a 9-to-5 job in my life, and hopefully I'll retire by the time I'm 40. Favorite food is pizza. Favorite movie, Remember the Titans. If I could go anywhere, it'd be the Bahamas. My favorite spot in St. George is Olive Garden. My name is Trevor Hill. Thanks for watching. Mom, if you see this, I love you, and please come out and support. Thank you.
Another great player profile feature, and Trevor Hill this time, and again a very timely player profile feature, is the men's and women's basketball team. Again, both in action this weekend, hosting Concordia on Saturday. Well, that will do it for today's show. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can catch all episodes of Trailblazer Weekly on demand at SouthernUtahLive.com and on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time on Trailblazer Weekly.